Lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me for. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
What's up, nerds? Welcome back to another podcast on a Wednesday, hanging out with your aggressively average angling friends. We made possibly a mistake, and we purchased. I don't think it'll be a mistake. We'll find out. We purchased a lot of BFS stuff. Have you guys heard of BFS fishing? It's bait finesse system. It's essentially ultralight with a bait caster. It's something that I would say it's there's two sides to this. It sucks or it's great, and there's nothing in between. There's a lot of people who are saying like there's no reason to be fishing that way. Just use a spinning rig. We decided, well, let's figure it out for ourselves. Let's see if this is something that we could get into. This is something that we feel might be valuable. And there's a lot of seemingly really cool things that you could do with a BFS that sure you could do it with a spinning rig, but it seems a lot more fun on a bait casting setup. So we've got the reels, we've got the rods, we've got a bunch of the tackle, and we want to share it with you tonight. So we're going to talk about some of the ins and outs of this, like where did BFS come from? What are some of the options available to y'all if you want to get into it? There are some budget-friendly options. There's some things that you can do. There's some things you can ship from overseas. And then there's, of course, the crap that we got. So we're going to talk about that, of course, today as well. So thanks for joining us. We're really happy to be here with you guys. It's always a blast hanging out with you on a Wednesday. Thank you for accommodating our later time. We're starting a little bit later because, as you know, Paul and I are both fathers. We have children, and children, they have needs. You know, they need their parents sometimes. So this just makes it easier where we can accommodate like bedtime and like get this thing going and still have a good time with you without stressing out about everything. Plus, guess what? Paul had enough time to write a show, which means you guys are in for more of a treat if you let us start later. So it all works out. Anyways, I digress. Let's get into it. Paul, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm feeling a lot less like I just sat down 4 seconds ago and I don't know what I'm doing. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
Which is great. So we got a couple of things we wanted to talk to you guys about. As always, wanted to shout out our sponsors, specifically Monster Bass, Busby, Okuma, and Mule Fishing, of course, which is kind of the highlight of the show because we're going to be talking about some ultra light stuff. There's links
Yep.
below if you're listening to this as a podcast, and if you're just listening to this normal, Chaw's going to pop some stuff up for you, and you can see it on YouTube as well. I want to give a quick update on the Monster Bass Ultralight rod. We sent another round of feedback. We got actual mock-ups of what the rod is going to look like, and we gave some more feedback. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an insider's look as to what the color scheme is going to be. So we told you guys the all purple rod, like where the whole rod is purple. We're not going to do that because we are sacrificing a lot of sensitivity, and this
It's
rod
not okay.
has to have max
Yeah.
sensitivity. This isn't like a medium heavy fast where you can get away with that. So we're not going to be doing that. But we are going to have basically anything that's text on the rod is going to be chartreuse. Any of the accents, so like where the line guides are, all the stuff by the reel seats, where the screw down nuts are, that's all going to be the purple. And then you're going to get the same black that you see on the Monster Bass rods, which I think looks really, really good. And then it's all going to have that gloss. So I think it's going to look really dope. Our name is going to be on it. And we did ask for one thing, which I'm still waiting on confirmation on, but we did ask at the very tip, at the tippy top, somewhere at the top, we get a chartreuse accent, a nice bright one, so that you can better see some contrast to detect bites, which is really big. Again, when you're talking about ultra light, you look at perch, bluegill, that sort of thing. You're fishing visually a lot. So that is the update. We're waiting on the final, but we are super, super, super excited about this rod, you guys.
Yeah.
And it does seem like they took all the measurements, so we're super excited.
Yeah, they took all the feedback. The guys helping us make this rod is awesome. So I mean,
We
like,
got to get them on the show.
we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that. The cool thing about like the rod tip, and I really hope that we can pull this off, is you don't see that
No.
in ultralight and BFS and any conventional setups.
Mhm.
You do see that in ice fishing,
Sure
which
do.
is like it's awesome when you have it. So some of those super sensitive, like the 13 fishing tickle stick is a great example. The Akuma Trio ice,
Ice
right? The
Cube.
Pro ice, yeah,
The
like
Ice Cube, which
those
is a
have that.
$40 rod. It's all blue except for
Yeah,
the last 2 inches is all orange. I love that.
yeah. So I mean, that's great when you're going for that like very light bite, which is something that people got to. It takes a little time getting into, but it's a blast. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun, and having that added sensitivity and visual sightline that you can have is great. So we're hoping we can pull that off. We'll keep you guys updated as things move along. Hopefully, we're progressing at a good pace, and we can get another model in our hands that we can test out on video for y'all very soon. So fingers crossed. Let's get there. It's gonna be great. As always, we got a schmiv away for you guys by the end of the show. So I might want to remind you guys we got a special number. What's the secret number, Paul? That we got to hit?
It's very seat 150.
It's
It's 150. It's 150. It's
You-
150 viewers.
viewers.
If you hit that number at any point in the show, we're going to do a second giveaway. Jeff's going to stick his bare hand into an open box of treble hooks, and whatever sticks to his thumbs and his fingers and his paws, that goes to you.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna spice this up. So if you guys saw this video,
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, I'm going to
Monday,
stick my face in it.
I'm gonna stick my face in it, and then whatever's hanging from my earlobes, you guys can have. We dropped a video on Monday, and it was comparing the best of box from Monster Bass to what we decided would be our best of box from
Yeah.
baits purchased from monsterbass.com. I have those baits, so I have that box, and I think that we should schmiv that away.
I think so,
So
too. It was
if
a
we can-
banger box.
If we can hit that 150, then we'll do that. You guys can have the extremely limited edition, as in there's only one aggressively average angler box that we made for that video. So that is
I'm kind of
available.
mad because that box slapped.
It does. I'm gonna throw one
Oh,
caveat
no.
in
What
here. There's one
happened?
caveat.
What
The
happened?
spinner
Color?
bait. The spinner bait. It's a sexy shad instead of the chartreuse and white.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's
But that's not bad.
It's a quarter ounce.
That's okay. I'm going to be honest. That's okay.
You can
Can I
burn
tell
it.
you something?
That's the only one that was off.
So the 3/8 ounce Cast King Pro spinnerbait in
Mhm.
Sexy Shad, which I never throw, still to this day is the biggest fish I've ever caught on a
Strike
spinnerbait.
King.
Strike King.
Strike King. I
The
got you. Yeah.
KVD tour grade.
Same. I think my first pike was on that spinnerbait.
Oh,
No joke.
that
Sexy
one's
shad, KVD,
Painted
Strike King
Blades.
spinnerbait.
Such a good. Honestly, though, I caught. So I
That's
caught
funny.
what I know now to easily be a 4-pounder. I didn't
Yeah.
know how big it was. I was so shocked. I was flabbergasted. This was
You're
way early
like,
in my
this is how
fishing.
big fish
Uh,
get? This is crazy.
I had it, and my
Yeah.
whole hand could have fit in its mouth. If I caught that fish now, I'd be like, this might be the biggest fish I catch in a year. That was probably
Yeah.
the biggest fish I caught up until like 2019.
That's
huge.
crazy.
So
So,
KVD,
yeah,
spinnerbait.
spinnerbaits are great, and it's about spinnerbait time. Allegedly, Michigan's doing this crazy thing where it snowed all week this week, you guys,
Yeah.
and then we have a freeze warning in Ann Arbor. So you know what? Heck Michigan, heck the North. Right now, it's a joke. Hopefully, weather calms down. We'll get out and fishing. The cool thing about that though is, Paul, we have a plan this weekend, right? It's a pretty
Totally.
good plan. We might become scientists potentially from an episode of Breaking Bad, and we might be cooking some stuff up in the garage, and it's not what you think
It's
it
a
is.
yeah, it's supposed to be very gross again this upcoming Sunday.
Yeah.
It might be weather dependent. I really want to fish that gilly super bad. I want to donate some time to it because I got all the pieces, the components, and the new gilly size, the downsize. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's probably going to be bait making time, which I know we've been saying for a year and a half, and we just
Yeah.
haven't gotten to it. So, anyways, let's get to
We
the
gonna
Q of
do
the
it.
D.
Yep.
Don't forget, y'all, the Knucklehead series starts in May. It starts in like 5 days. So
Oh, you better
May
register.
is the first month. Please go register, and please, I'm actually I don't often ask this, but please post about it to your friends. I
Yeah.
would really like to see like more people getting on there onto our team. Um, we're on there. I'm paying, and I don't have to, but like I'm paying, and I'm doing it just to
Same.
practice and for fun. But
Yeah.
we would love to see you guys on there. This is huge for us, and we need people to come fish with us in November. So like tell your friends. We'll hook you up with whatever. We'll figure out a way to get you down there with the gear that you need to have fun and fish. But I
We'll
promise you
have
guys, we don't care whether you're good or not. We don't plan on being good
yeah.
at all. This is a learning experience. It's just supposed to be fun. But this is a really cool opportunity for you guys to come hang out with us in Alabama and meet a ton of really cool people who just love to
Yep.
fish. This is not a serious thing. I
We
actually don't
don't
want
take this
anyone
seriously.
I do not want anybody that's like a super like hardcore, like mega competitive person on here. I want people who just want to fish, who like to get competitive, but who just want to learn and have fun. Like that's what our teams are for, and that's all I care about. So please hop on there. Like we're going to be donating 33% of whatever proceeds that we make to autism anglers. That's a huge thing for us. So that is really the goal here, that and to have some fun. So please hop on there and do that. You can find that under the Knucklehead series. We got links all over our profiles. We got links on YouTube. There's a link at the below if you're listening to this podcast. So please go do that.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm done selling. Yes, and it's
It's
pinned up
pinned.
above.
It's pinned in there.
There
And
are gonna be prizes from
we will have prizes. I got
yeah.
confirmation from Dave over at Akuma today that there's going to be some rods and some hats.
Holy
There,
smokes.
yeah, we got some monster bass stuff on the way.
Mhm.
We've got
Busby.
stuff from Busby. We've got stuff from Waterland. We've got,
We'll hook you
Mule
guys up.
Fishing is probably going to work with us a little bit, or we'll just buy stuff and give it away
They're
from Mule
gonna hook
Fishing.
you. I promise you, there will be prizes for anybody that's playing.
Yep.
Like, I just want
Not
it
to
to be
mention
fun.
$10,000 to the winning team.
Potentially, if you have a banger day in Huntsville, yeah, you could win 10 grand. I get
But
none of that. That's
we
just for you
care
guys.
we care so little that we will bring kayaks down and gear down for you if you don't have any. So just register, just have some fun with this, and let's hang out. Let's do some good stuff in this world. All right, so let's dive in. Q of the D.
Do the D. So I
This is
love
a
this
great
one. This is
question.
hilarious to me. I keep
Yep.
seeing that like if you're not doing AI,
If you're
artificial
not on
intelligence, in
AI,
your business, you're not doing anything.
you're
AI can
behind
make you $1 million a minute every
tomorrow.
time. AI, if you aren't like,
Uh,
or it's the opposite. It's like AI is going to ruin everything. It's going to do all the kids' homework. They'll never learn anything.
dumb is so
All
dumb.
the people are going to lose their jobs.
Yep.
So, is AI ruining everything?
N-
On either side of it?
no, it's not.
What, Jeff? Why not?
No,
Everyone said
absolutely.
that we're all going to lose our jobs.
Yeah,
Why aren't we
no,
going to lose our jobs, Jeff?
everyone's wrong. We've been using AI in some facet for decades now. Like it's not the user, the public use version of it is the only new thing. It's just become like open to the public. But it does solve a lot of problems. It does make a lot of things easier, and it does make things more accessible. It's going to save people a lot of time. Like I don't see any real negative drawbacks as long as they keep the safety control on so that we can't give nuclear codes to the AI. Like as
Screw
long
it.
as
Give it
that
to
doesn't
them. They
happen,
need it. Look, here's the thing. AI is
yeah.
it's the 2023 version of a calculator. It's the
Yep.
2023 version of autocorrect. It's the 2023 version of a cellular telephone that you keep in your back pocket where you can Google everything.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging that the world is an open book test. Okay? It's just saving you time. Now,
Yeah.
it is, if you're doing some homework, is this now a problem? The way that homework is constructed? Yes, you now have to change the way homework is constructed,
Yep.
right? Because now the kids are just having AI do the Googling. That's the only difference. Before they were Googling and find it on their own, it was just harder. Google did the same thing to libraries. Libraries are still around.
Yeah.
I go to the library every 2 weeks. Like, this is not,
Yeah.
the world is not ending. Here's the thing about AI that you got to understand AI cannot generate anything on its own. it has to use original source work to do anything that it's going to do. So without people writing original source work, it can do nothing. It can't do anything. We are the source. At
Yeah.
some point, is AI neat? Is it fun? Does it help you save time? 100%. Just like a calculator, just like Google. You still gotta
It can't
as a
do
user of
everything.
AI, you
Yeah.
still have to use it. In 2099, could it be different? Maybe. We're not there. We're not there. I'm not getting
Yep.
replaced by AI. I'm not worried
Yeah.
about it.
You
But
still
you
have to
should
use
mess
the
around with it because
Yeah.
it's kind of awesome.
You still have to use a creative thinking process
Yeah.
just to give it the right prompt to get the right output. Sometimes it's more work anyways, but it's interesting. I think it could do a lot of things. I'll tell you guys, if you have a Canva account, you should, make yourself laugh a lot by going into Canva's AI photo generator or any photo generator you guys can get. And then I promise you, this is fun. Ask it to make a lure, a fishing lure. Just describe that lure to it and say, "Give me a picture of this," and it will spit out some
3,900
hilarious
eyes and
things.
44 gills in its belly. It's fantastic.
Yeah, or ask it to draw you a bass. Like
You could ask
that
my
is a
6-year-old to
blast.
draw a bass, and it would just be in like better, but in a different color.
Yep, purple.
It's
probably.
amazing. I
Yep.
do recommend that you learn how to use it though, because it's not going anywhere. I'll tell
Yep.
you right now, I'm using it for work, like my actual day job. It just saves me from Googling a whole bunch of things. It's
Yep.
fantastic.
I
It's
use
just
it
I just
every day.
there are specific things that I do with it that I'm like, this just saved me 2 hours. That's it. All right,
100%.
moving on. Let's talk BFS. I don't know what Child's talking about. He's talking about voice AI where I sound like Joe Biden. I don't want that to happen. What is a BFS system, Jeff? That is a pass-fail question.
A bait finesse system.
I was gonna use a curse word, but I like your idea better.
Big effing S. We're
There's a
still
lot
too
of
early in the
options.
show.
It is way too early in the show.
Big,
So we are
big fart
Bait
syndrome.
finesse system. For all of you who have not used one, heard of one, it is light / ultralight version of a bait casting reel. It's meant to throw super light. It's meant a bait casting setup meant to throw really lightweight like lures. Now this could be plastics, frogs, inline spinner baits, like you name it. If it's out there and it's less than like 1/8 of an ounce, really that's kind of the line I think for me.
Yeah.
1/8 ounce or less. This is BFS. And Brown Baker goes, I throw BFS, big freaking swim baits. We feel you,
Yeah,
bro. We're on the other
we
side of your
get it.
planet, the way it's aligned, but we're still here.
The
So
the thing about it too is like when you think about casting setups that most people have, like how many of you guys have a medium setup for casting? Like chat, you let me know.
my hand is
don't
raised.
raise your hand, Paul. I know
I
you
know.
do. So do
I know.
I. But how many of you guys, you have bait casters? You got a lineup of bait casters. How many of you have a medium light? They make them. Do you have something lighter than
Not
a
a
medium?
lot. Yeah, it's
No,
definitely not a lot of people.
most people are going to have a medium heavy. So you're not and then go to your medium heavy setup, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Go get a 1/8 ounce jig. Go get a Ned rig. Cast it on your casting setup. It's horrible. It's absolutely
difficult.
awful.
What you find with a lot of these, it's because it seems like such a small thing.
Yeah.
But the direction of the spool means that the lure is actually pulling the spool. That's really different than unwinding the spool when the spool is vertical in a spinning setup. It's just totally different. It's why they fish differently. It's why you see a lot of these folks big flipping scams, says Debo's. I think we're gonna have to put up like a whole. That's gonna be my question on Instagram tomorrow. I was like, what does BFS stand for? And
We're
it's
gonna make a
wrong
shirt that's
answers
just
only.
BFS is like bait finesse system crossed out. It's like big
I'm
flipping
doing one
scam
right now.
crossed out.
Whatever one
Big
wins, I'm gonna
friggin'
make a
swim
t-shirt.
baits crossed out.
BFS equals wrong answers only. I'm writing it down.
Best friends suck crossed out.
No, I like big flipping scandal or scam. I like that a lot. So, what you got? What is a reel? Let's talk the reels. I feel like that's where most
you
people's
mean
mind gravitates to first.
these
Because
reels?
well, Jeff's holding 2 different versions of the ones that are probably some of the easier ones to find in the US.
These
A lot
are
of the stuff,
the
you guys,
easiest ones
is
to
these
find
are
in
the
the
easiest ones to
US.
find in the US. A lot of the stuff is either JDM or it's coming from like an AliExpress. We're talking Japan, China.
Yeah.
And it hasn't really gained a ton of popularity in the US yet. So a lot of stuff, it's kind of difficult to find. You're finding
Yep.
previous models, you're finding really expensive shipping. Now this is something that a lot of people don't think about, the FX rate, the exchange rate. Right now it's in the US's favor. So when you see a lot of these prices for the overseas stuff, you're getting like 20-30% knocked off just because you're buying in US dollars. Something to think about. So let's talk about what makes a BFS reel a BFS reel. The first thing is going to be the spool. The spool is going to be larger, but it's going to be really, really light, extremely light.
Yep.
And it's going to be
Look how
made,
small that is.
it's specifically designed to cast ultralight lures, right? So it's going to have to spin really easily.
Zoom
The
in.
other thing is the braking systems. Now, there's two kinds of braking systems that are out there right now, roughly. There's a dynamic one and there's a static one. I'm totally losing my voice. A static one is where you cast it and the magnets apply the brakes evenly across the entire speed. So right when you first cast, you're getting a big jump in speed. It slows down in the middle all the way to the end where it slows down even more. You're getting the same amount of mag force across that whole spectrum of speed. Then there's the higher end ones. These are dynamic. This is your Daiwa, your Shimano. You're getting you're getting what's called it's called dynamic because when the spool is spinning faster, it applies the brakes more, and then as it slows, it releases it. That allows you to have way more control, and again, allows you to combat that backlash and gets
Yep.
you a better cast.
So
Now,
there's the Shimano. The first one I showed you guys is the Cast King Kestrel. Now, until we test it out, it's pretty slick looking. It is the one that we were very nervous about purchasing, but let's do this. The US versus the overseas market. There are three in the US that you can get for bait casting.
easily.
It's the Zephyr, which is
The
casting.
Cast King Zephyr.
It's
Which
the
is
Kestrel.
for $50, the Cast King Zephyr is traditionally, if you go search
Yep.
in the US, that'll be the model people recommend the most.
Right. Look how small these knobs are, dude.
That's tiny.
That's it. They're crazy. So that's a Kestrel. Anyways, you can get the Curado. Curado is the most popular option by far.
Right now, yeah.
Yep. And again, it's
And it's
accessibility.
$200.
And it's basically, it just feels like I don't know, 10% smaller Curado. Like it's got slightly smaller knobs, all of that. But obviously, this is very pronounced how large that spool is. Look at
But
that.
the SLX is the other one, right? You can get those right now.
So
They're harder, but you can get them on Amazon.
yeah, that one is more difficult. That's mostly overseas, but I'm sure within the next year that's going to be
You can do it. But
easily
they're hard.
accessible.
But they are a little bit cheaper than the Curado, but not so much that I think people go away from the Curado. You can get the
Yep.
Aldebaran by Shimano, which is
Yep.
significantly more
280.
expensive. Yeah,
Not so $80 more essentially than the Curado.
that's like
that you're getting.
30%, at least 40%.
Significantly though.
So it's $80 on a $200. That's
Slightly a smidge, a scotch. It's a scotch more
$80.
expensive.
$80 more than a 200 is significantly
Just-
more expensive to
You
me.
just
I
say
think
a
so.
scotch.
You
But,
did say that. You can
uh,
get there's the Scorpion too, but you can't. Those are really hard to find. Much harder to find in the U.S. The Daiwa Alphas Air is the one that I've been getting recommended the most and seen the most positive review from recently. They have a really unique mag system. They look like they're designed really well. They're in the $220 range. They're a little bit harder to get. You're getting those from Japan. The Steez Air is another one. They both have that dynamic system. Really, probably one of the most advanced ones out there right now.
Yep.
Super expensive. They are not cheap. They're in the $450 if memory serves. They're expensive.
Yeah,
You
there's
can
there's
get
a lot of really expensive options. I want to point out before we keep going on that the spinning setup defenders will always come out. We love our spinning setups.
I do.
We're spinning reel and rod freaks, fanatics. Like we love them. There's some people that hate spinning altogether. They'll never do it. I want to keep in mind that BFS is not like making an excuse not to use a spinning reel.
No.
It has different purposes that we're going to talk about in a little bit, where it makes more sense.
We'll talk about the why yes
get
or
into
why
it.
no, because I think there's a line there, and everyone's line is going to be a little different.
It just feels much more specific. So it's like a select specific niche. Thank you is the word. It's a niche setup, but there are uses for it that make more sense to go this route versus going the spinning route. We're making a spinning ultralight rod. Like we're not going to go away from spinning.
No, not at all. Now someone's already called out the AliExpress. So if you're a little more adventurous and you're kind of okay taking, I would consider it a little bit of a risk buying off AliExpress or buying from like Japan. There are there are a lot of other options. So the
Yep.
PW100 is a Chinese reel. You can get it on AliExpress. It's like in the $50 range. It's supposed to be really nice. The Surinoya, the Dark Wolf Ultra, and then the Hurricane were the two that came up. Those are in the $90 to $60 range. Those are going to probably compete with your Shimano Curado. They're
Yeah.
they're just going to be they're supposed to be really nice, and they're less expensive because of where they're manufactured. I've heard that the Abu Garcia, the ALC, is supposed to be like one of the more underrated reels
Yeah.
out there. I'm very leery about going with an Abu Garcia model. I think that they are using more of like a static mag system. I would probably not be going that route, to be honest with you. I would want someone that's copying or stealing a Shimano, which was more like the Sonoya, where
Yeah.
they have the spring mags, you pick them, and when they're on, it's a dynamic system. It's not attached to the spool. So I like that. Um, I don't know. That's just my thought on it. That especially with lures super light, that dynamic is saving you a lot of skill that you don't have to learn, in my opinion.
Right.
Um, Now there are a couple things you can do. So you could get like a Zephyr for $50 and you could go and get an aftermarket spool. Or you could get
Right.
one of these other models and get an aftermarket spool. That spool's gonna have a bunch of holes in it. It's basically gonna be the lightest, largest profile, lightest both material and metal. Like duralumin is what a lot of them are getting made with, and there's gonna be holes all over it to reduce the weight. That means that the line and the lure has to do less work to effectively turn that spool. So that's what you're going for. Those are somewhere in the $50 to $100 range usually.
Yeah.
The other thing you do is bearings. So you can go with the micros. That's going to be a silicon carbide. That's probably the medium range. You can go ceramic, which would be in the higher range. And then you can go with like a standard but micro sized bearing. And then there are more aftermarkets like pieces. There's like a striation, but it's the same as the aftermarket that you get with ours, like a regular baitcaster. One of the biggest differences with the tolerances being so small and these not being like mass produced as much, what I was reading is that these are a lot harder to get in and out, and they're a lot easier to damage when you're pulling the parts apart.
Mhm.
Because they're just so small, and again, the tolerances aren't as dialed because they're not mass produced as much. You could screw one of these up doing a bearing upgrade, which would really suck. You spend
Yeah.
$150 or whatever on a reel. You want to make it a $300, $400 reel. You buy the bearings, and then you just scratch the hell out of it getting it in there. That would suck.
Yeah, so I don't know. So I've had the Zephyr for over a year now, almost 2 years, I think. Did I do that last year?
What?
Maybe it was last year. The Zephyr, I did a BFS video on it
Last year.
maybe.
Yep. That was last year.
Yeah, so that's where we tested out like, okay, what can we actually get? The Zephyr was obviously the most affordable option. At the
50
time, it
bucks,
was like
60 bucks, yeah.
at the time it was 75.
Oh my
I might
god.
have gotten it on sale. Yeah. I mean, it's not free, but it's
No.
definitely a lot cheaper than a lot of the options
Mhm.
out there. And then we were looking for the rod, and at the time, like other than again buying the Dobbin Sierra Ultra Finesse, which we'll talk about because we got it, or a cash in or whatever. Gosh forbid we're not talking about G Loomis right now. But you're looking at those mid to upper echelon type range rods. We were looking at the sub 100. So I was like, how can I make a BFS setup for about $100? And the first, I went and got the Amazon rod, the
Booyah gang.
Sulyugi gang, the Suya gang, and it was absolutely the worst rod I've ever used for fishing. So it was horrible. It was not usable essentially. So we sent that right back. And then I picked up the Shimano Sensolite. And the Shimano Sensolite is nice. The model I ended up getting, I think, is around it's a 7 foot, supposedly ultralight. Definitely not. It's an overpowered ultralight, so it's a bit stiffer, and it's $50. So I mean, it's like, $50, why not? We'll do this, and then we can have that set up. Now I've used that. The only lure I like casting on that combo right there is a baby chatterbait. Like that's it. Like the
Because
Z-Man
it's a
makes.
quarter ounce or an eighth ounce.
Yeah, it's the one I'm using is an eighth. So you use the 1/8 ounce, which is at the upper end of like the weight rating for BFS, really, well, mid range for BFS. So it's very easy to cast. As soon as I would use a lighter crankbait or jig or anything, it was impossible to cast. Like I could not dial that Zephyr for the life
But
of
there's
me.
two things working against you.
Mhm.
One, the Zephyr, it's fine, but it's not a super high quality baitcaster. So the lighter you go, the more challenges you're going to have. Two, and I think this gets overlooked a lot. There's sort of like two ranges in BFS.
Yeah.
There's BFS that's actually a medium light or a light. And then what you're going to see is that's an extra fast. The weight ranges are going to be like they might even start at 1/8. All right, they'll start at 1/8. That's the bottom weight range. The line rating you're going to see on
Yeah.
those is 4 to 10 pound. That to
Yeah.
me is really a light, even a medium
Yeah.
light, depending on the company. To me, it's not that that's not BFS. It is BFS, but it's going to severely limit how light you can really go. And to
Yeah.
me, that's not ultra light. In my mind, when I think of this, I'm thinking of like light slash really more towards ultralight. Like I want to be able to throw 1/16 ounce and maybe a
Right.
132 ounce if I've got it dialed. And
Right.
that to me is an ultralight. So what you're going to see in an ultralight rod, you might see fast instead of extra fast, but it's actually going to be a little more moderate. It's actually going to have some give to it. That's what's going to really help you control the casts on those
Hmm.
super light 1/16 ounce or less lures. The weight ranges on this, it's going to start at 1/16. Like that's what you need to look for a real ultralight, not a light medium light. The last thing, and this is for me the dead giveaway, and I actually moved away from a couple of rods because they had the wrong line rating. I want to see a line rating of 2 to 6 or 2 to 8. That to me is really ultralight. The 4 to 10, it's a light. That's just my opinion. But from what
Yeah.
I've seen and what I'm reading and just my experience, to me, that's the 4 to 10 pound range is a light. The 2 to 8 is really an ultralight. So when we were looking to buy, I wanted actual ultralight. Like that's what got me excited.
Yeah. So the nice crossover here is with us making this ultralight rod. We've been digging into this information anyways, so we're getting this data overload. We're learning a lot as we go. Uh, and yeah, as we were going through looking for the BFS rods, we were constantly finding that 4 to 10 pound rating, right? So it's like this overpowered. And what I've noticed as I'm going through trying to find ultralight gear, lures, line, rods, reels, whatever, the selection's much smaller, obviously, than your standard conventional stuff. And it was, Paul, how long did it take us to find ultralight hooks and weights?
Oh, okay. Well, you guys are going to see it in the video, but
Yeah.
realistically, finding the right hooks, and I mean ultralight, we're talking EWGs in 8, size 8 or lower, or
Size
higher, 10.
8, you
We're
guys.
talking like
Oh my
really, really
gosh.
small. Even 6s got to be difficult, but you could do it on Tackle Warehouse. 8s were
Yeah.
really hard. You had to find a very
Let alone
specific model.
jigs. Look
Jigs
at,
were a little easier, but
yeah.
finding the
Well,
1/16ths
why?
got to be a
Do
little
your
tricky.
thing.
It was much more
Yeah.
narrow for sure.
We got some micro jigs. We definitely got a lot of ultralight hooks. You guys will see an unboxing on that. What Paul's referencing there too is that we did a little shopping vid as we spent literally all the money we possessed to get these stupid BFS setups.
So
What's
Jason
that?
goes, and this should be our mid show segment.
Okay,
This is a
we'll do
great
that.
question. He goes, I wonder how a bird's nest would be on a baitcaster with 6 pound, and I'm thinking fluoro, or not
Okay,
fluoro,
so
braid.
hang on. Before we do that, we got a couple members chiming in. So
Yes.
we'll make this our mid show, and then we'll carry on to really what I think we should kind of like make sure we get to with this episode is why. Like, why would you go
Yeah,
BFS? We're
we're
doing a
trying to
lot
get
of
there.
nerd out stuff. So if we do a two-parter of this episode, you guys, we'll do like a little bit of nerd stuff here today, but mostly the why. And then we'll get a chance to test these out. So for part two, we could actually say like, okay, we got the combos together, like we set it up, maybe we cast a few times. Let's give you guys some feedback on that, and get into a little bit more, the other stuff. So real quick, we got Burly would hate it if I missed his comment because like somehow we miss his comment a lot. But Burly, AAA
25
Hardening,
months.
Big
Dude,
Lever
appreciate you, brother.
Gang CEO. He has appointed himself as the CEO of the Big Lever Gang, and I accept.
I
There
like
you
it.
go. So thanks for hanging out with us for 25 months, brother. That's amazing. What's up, nerds? Finally get to tune in, ready to unleash the Kraken in this tourney. Ow, ow. Hey, wait, what team though? If you're on
Doesn't
Flames,
matter.
you
It's all
friggin'
it's
you
all it's all Team
friggin'
Ned.
jerk.
I like it.
I mean, yes, but I just want to beat you mostly. Like, there will have teammates, but I'm only fishing against
Obviously.
you. And then we got mainstream fishing. Member for 6 months. Thanks a lot, brother. And the Burly
Appreciate you,
Bunch
bro.
Elite. Love y'all, but the Knicks are on dislike BFS. All right, all right,
I've heard
fair
more
enough.
conversation on the BFS stuff in this last 5 minutes, 10
Yeah.
minutes than I've seen in most of our chats. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. It's an
And somebody
enigma.
goes,
It's
"I
an
would think it would
enigma.
be an eagle's nest, not a bird's nest." That's
Ooh,
hilarious.
oh, I like it. I like it. All right. And then we got real quick shout out to Bass Daddy for 4.99 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the show, man. You guys should get a Ganclaw 7. I saw that.
Yeah,
Gancraft, I think you mean 70
yeah.
swim bait. I am gonna go on to there's a website, you guys, if you're curious about just snooping a whole bunch of BFS stuff, much like there's all these like swim bait underground websites for swim baits, and these niches have their own sites. Bait Finesse Empire. If you want to check it out, go take a look. They have all sorts of stuff, including rods, reels, tackle, right? So pretty cool. The Gamecraft 70 is a swim bait that I was definitely looking at for the BFS. Just for brown bait co. I was thinking about brown bait co when I was looking at this. I
Word.
was like, dude, I gotta get the micro swim bait. Let's go.
So
That'd be
we're
awesome.
on we're on a roll here. So I want to hit the ultralight rod options that we were able to find.
Were
And I
we
want
gonna
to hit
do
them real
Jason's
quick.
thing
Oh,
for the
okay.
mid show?
We definitely need to do that.
Yeah, let's do that. So roll the mid show segment. Chaz, how we doing on the viewership? Give me a whisper.
115.
115. You guys are
Y'all, go tell your
cruising
friends.
towards it. I love how I said whisper and then I immediately shouted the number
Yes,
out. That's
obviously.
how we roll. We don't keep secrets from our nerds. Again, if you guys get to 150, what I promised at the beginning of the show is we do have the aggressively average anglers box that we put up head to head with the best of month box for Monster Bass. And we won unanimously in the comments, by the way. So if you want that, I'm not
Ah,
kidding. No, it was
there were
unanimous, my friend.
three that really, yes, they're
No,
like the
I read
second
every
comment.
comment.
The second comment or third comment was
Uh-huh.
Monster Bass won it right off the bat with Whopper Plopper. And a lot of people had that opinion.
It was more like Whopper Plopper was great, and you guys
Some
had better
people said
plastics.
that.
That's all
Some
I
people
saw.
said that.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. We did it for fun. We worked with Monster Bass to make that box, and we bought those baits from monsterbass.com. So it's not
Yeah.
us versus them per se,
No,
but
it was
our
just
box
fun.
was better. Anyways, so yeah, let's get to Jason's thing, and we're gonna shmiv that away at the end of the show if we hit the 150 viewers. That was my point. All right,
Yeah.
what was
So
Jason's thing?
the comment was,
Oh, the bird's nest.
what would a bird's nest be like with like
I can tell you. I can tell you
on my
exactly what
BFS
it's like.
ultralight, I plan on using 6 pound max. If I go to 8 pound, it will be the 4 strand. It won't be the 8. So if I do
Braid.
the 6, it'll be the 8 strand. I really like if you're practiced and you are like proficient with with casting ultralight line. I like the 4 strand braid. I don't feel like you need anything more than that, and it's so fine. But my God, with that bird's, I think that would not be a fun bird's nest.
I can tell you it's not. So I've got my Cast King Zephyr rigged up. I want to say it was 6 pound high vis, but it's 8 strand.
Mm.
So it is
So
a
the 8
little
strand's a
bit
little stiffer.
stiffer, which is good and bad. Good for casting, not so great for accuracy on
Holds up a
ultralight
lot
stuff.
better for sure.
It
It can
does
break
hold up.
off though at the knot.
Yeah. So especially when you're doing connection knots, which you are because it's ultralight and you want to, fish
And
the
viz.
little, yeah, you want lower viz in the water. So we go to fluoro. At any rate, it's awful. I did spend about 10 to 15 minutes on a dock as I was just casting around, just joking around with some stuff, trying to dial it in for the year because I had it put away after last year. I was like, I'm not using this thing. And then here we are buying the most premium setups we could. But I was like, I'll dial it in. So I took it out for a trip and I spent most of that trip just, 45 minutes on the bank. Kids are, playing around the woods behind me. I was like, I'll cast this around. Right. Yeah. Most of the time just cleaning up a bird's nest. So yeah, it can suck. And that's where I'm like, do I want to spend $50 on a reel on AliExpress? I mean, so there's
Yes.
people that have very good things to say about it, and then I'm just like, that's like a
I
high
think you
risk
gotta
thing.
be I think you gotta do your research with anything AliExpress. You
Yeah,
gotta know what you're getting before you buy it. I think that's really important. Um,
yeah, yeah.
that's just I mean, and you're taking a gamble. I'm not gonna probably do it personally, and we didn't.
I'm not.
So you'll
I
see.
feel
Anyways,
very good about this reel. I'm like, this
yeah, you
reel is
should.
going to serve me very well. I
Quality.
feel good about your Cast King, bro. And like, you were nervous about this, but it
A
does.
little bit.
It feels good. We know a couple of people. Rar Fishing's one of them that's like
Yes.
using this and has good things to say
I
about
want to
it.
look at the brake systems. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah.
So
Very very interesting stuff. So we'll
so
get into it.
let's talk rod options. I
Mhm.
think this actually there are less of these than reels, I
Than
think,
reels.
because
Yeah,
but in my opinion,
man.
I actually think that this is where you can win just as much with ultralight on a
Yeah.
casting situation by getting a real ultralight. So I'm going to go through what I think are truly ultralight and what I think are just
Yep.
maybe light slash medium light. Shimano Sensolite, $50, great value. That
Light.
is a light,
100%.
not a true ultralight.
Nope.
Dobbins Ultra Finesse, 190.
Ultralight.
That is an ultralight. The Curado, 190. That comes in ultralight. Same with the Majestic at $90, although I
Yep.
only saw a couple models.
Yeah.
Cash and BFS, it's toe in the line, but they do have an ultralight. They also have a light, which I would be excited about maybe
Yeah.
later.
So real quick on those
Yeah.
two. So the two, just so you guys know, that we picked up would be the Dobbin Sierra, the Sierra Ultra Finesse, which I fully blame my combo on Ethan Duvetter, that gosh dang guy, because I've
He had
seen
great
his
things to say.
combo and he had great things to say. So I picked up that combo, basically just mirroring my boy because I'm a freaking copycat. And although I was pleading with Paul to get the Curado, he decided to go with the Cast King. So here's our risk taker, you
That was for
guys.
you guys, by the
That he
way.
100% he did this for you guys. I was like, "Are you sure? Like, I feel like you'll
And
be
I was like,
happier with the
no.
Curado."
And I was
He's
like,
like, "I
no.
want to get a different one." We were trying to get the Daiwa, and the international shipping, and
I wanted the Daiwa Alphas Air. So
yes, it looked
220,
rad.
it looked rad,
It was 3 years
difficult to get a
old.
hold of, didn't have the latest model, which
Yep.
braking system again is the reason I'm buying that. So I was a little nervous. Maybe later.
Right.
I'm excited about the Kestrel now that I've done a little research and seen it. I think I
Yep.
stumbled into something that's going to be pretty nice.
It's nice. And then we went for the second rod with the Cashin. So putting them head to head, I just unboxed them today. Like just opened them up out of the tube. Haven't even put the combos together. Nothing. I'm saving that for the unboxing video. But just getting those rods out of the box and comparing them side by side, they're like the same rod. They're like exactly the same rod. But what I would define as like a true ultralight, because if I go and I stack that, and we'll do this in the video, to my Sensolite, it's like not even close.
No.
Like not even close.
But
So
50
I'm
versus
excited.
200, what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Rocka Blades coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. So just so you guys
Yo,
know, Rocka hooked us up with some Texas rig weights that we're going to be using in the 1/16th range,
he'll be in this
132, which
video.
is I'm very excited. You'll see it in the
Yep.
video. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you,
I
brother.
mean, honestly, with Jeff and I talked about this, we're going to hook you up with something because we know that's your hard-earned money and we appreciate you.
Yep.
And he just said, he goes, I finally got my Shimano SLX BFS reel today
Yes.
to go with his Dobbins BFS rod, which you were just talking about. He says 10-pound braid, 6-pound fluoro. Can't wait to use it in Knucklehead tourney. I can't wait for that either. And I think that's a friggin' sick setup. So well done.
Rocka, I think you're on my team. Dude, you got 4 months to win, brother. I want to fish with
I
you.
love it.
Like, no matter what, come down. Like, let's
Mm.
do that. I want to fish with you, brother. It's
I
gonna be
love
awesome.
it. Now let's talk. Get through a
Yep.
couple more rods. The Cash and Icon BFS, which is the one I bought. I've always wanted to get a Cash and rod. I've heard nothing but great things. And they do have what I would consider to be a light and an ultralight. The
Mhm.
Shimano Zodius, it gets recommended a lot. It's a light. It's honestly, it's a medium light. It's a really nice looking rod. Super light, but that's a medium light, honestly. Now, Phoenix makes one. I think it's the Feather. They make 2 or 3 different BFS ones. That is a $200 rod. They make one that's an ultralight. There's a whole bunch on AliExpress that I honestly, if this was a big deal, I might gamble on. So the Ace, the Ace Hawk Double, the Kingdom King Pro. You guys should go Google that. The Kingdom King Pro is $40 or $50 at AliExpress. It looks like a masterpiece. And then anything on the JDM market, there are probably 100
So many.
BFS rods
Right.
spanning collector's level, $1,000 down to the 45, $30 to you, shipped to you. So that's the Ali route. You could do it.
It's
They're
a whole
probably
nother
good.
world.
There could be some bad. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a whole nother world on the JDM market, which again is just like if you find the right source, you feel comfortable with it. If you've made a few purchases before, like cool. I don't even like buying rods if they were like from my next door neighbor. So it's very nerve wracking for me to be like,
Yeah.
sure, ship it overseas. Why not? You never know. You never know. But
I also
there
did
are
just
a
make
lot
a
of
whole
options out
video
there.
about rods getting obliterated in shipping. So there's
Just
that too.
follow our reels for this week. Paul and I had some
I got
fun with some
3
leftover
more
rod
coming.
tubes. I have been yelled at for trashing rod tubes before. Like I burned some of them
Wait till you
because
see the next couple of videos. You can talk to me then.
I ain't got room to keep those
I don't
around, you
care. I don't
guys.
care. I
I'm
don't
not
care.
shipping rods. I don't
All
do
right.
that.
We got a little time. Let's
Yep.
very quickly talk line and leader. Um,
I would
I will
almost say
say,
like save this part because the
okay,
lures, the line, all that stuff would be fun for a whole nother part.
fair
I think
enough.
we
We'll do a
wrap it
part
up with
two.
like why? Like why are we doing this? What is
So
the purpose?
yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Let's talk why not. I want to start there. So why would you not like be like the no BFS is stupid basically? Like what's the point? I don't understand
Yep.
it. I think
Spinning exists.
I think that's a really fair call out.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting a lot of benefit because everything's so light when you compare it to a quality spinning setup.
Yeah.
You are with a spinning setup, you might be sacrificing some accuracy or casting efficiency with a spinning setup, but you make up for it with its ability to throw way lighter. And so you're getting a lot more sensitivity from the rod because the rod line is always perfectly distributed across the full length of that rod because the line is underneath and hanging. you
Yeah.
also you don't need you don't need drag. Like you don't need a mega drag system. So you're not getting a benefit from the drag. And you are benefiting from control. So there's a lot of things to like about a spinning rod,
Yep.
plus the expense. You can make an ultralight spinning setup that's very serviceable for 100, 120 bucks, shipped to
Yep.
you to your house. I've got one. I've been using it for years. I could throw
Yep.
all this stuff easily. So I do think that there's a good argument there. so,
100%.
and anything you can cast on a BFS, you could cast potentially better on a spinning rod. Now,
Yep.
the flip side of that is why would you do this? What actual tangible benefit are you getting by buying a far more expensive, less suited for the weights BFS setup?
You're really selling it so well, by the way.
Dude, I mean, but this I think it's a really good argument for not spending the money. I
Yeah.
do. I think it's
Yeah, no,
legit.
we're not going to be here advocating 100% for everybody go get a BFS.
Mm-mm.
It fits a very tight niche of things that we want to do very badly that just happen to function a lot better on BFS. So, like when it really comes down to it, if you want casting distance, precision, like people argue you can get that on a spinning setup. I'll argue it depends on the lure. It depends on what you're trying to do. If I'm casting like a crankbait, if I'm going and I want to flip like Texas rigs, like if I want to, which is what we're gonna do, like super light Texas rigs, the jigs, like I can get a little more accuracy, distance, precision with it with a BFS system. And we're talking these are 8:2 to 1 gear ratio. Both of these are. So
Super fast.
give me that faster retrieve speed with these two, which is different, right? So again, is it a subtle difference? In some ways, sure. And in some ways, glaringly
But
different.
there's a couple of really good points that people are already making. So one of them is flipping into tight spaces.
Yeah.
So and you get this a
Baby
lot,
Texas, dude. I was so excited for these micro
but you get
jigs in
this
Baby
so
Texas.
much with
Yep.
river fishing where we are.
Yep.
Under trees, under docks. We're talking panfish. That's what they are. So I think that's a really important deal. Now, someone has said you could cast further I think in most not I think in most situations, yes. In non-ultralight, yes. In ultralight, spinning is going to cast further. It just is. It just is going to. Now, if you have
Yep.
a really high-end BFS setup, maybe, but you're splitting so much hairs and you're spending so much more money,
Yeah.
I don't think that that's an actual trade-off. um, someone said it's just a lot of fun. That's a legitimate reason, a very legitimate reason to
Isn't
go
that
get
why
a
we
BFS
do
setup.
all of
Like,
this stuff? And then LP Bass says I can walk topwater baits better with BFS. 100% concur with that. Other
yes.
than the micro popper, which Paul will disagree and say he
But
loves
the
more
other
on a
thing
spinning
too
setup.
is with BFS, right? So with the
Uh-huh.
BFS setup, there's another benefit. One, you can go heavier line and still cast some really light stuff and potentially run rigs that are going to outhorse a spinning bait.
Yeah.
You're just going to. In
Hmm.
deep, super fast current, if you have an 8-to-1 speed reel, there's some stuff you're just going to have tighter line that you're not going to be able to manage with a spinning setup. So, yes, there are some benefits. Honestly, I think of it though, and this is why I got into it, and I could tell you why. Sounds like a hell of a lot of fun. Like throwing a Texas rig setup, That actually,
Yes.
I feel like lends itself to
It's
BFS a little bit better.
dude.
You can go a little bit higher weight than you can with a spinning setup, and you could still be really effective. So we might be a little bit
Yep.
more further away from ultralight, but God, it sounds like a lot of fun to run a free rig on a baitcaster ultralight. That sounds like a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm 100% with it. And like the most fun that I've had on BFS so far was a chatterbait. And like I just can't run it the same way on a spinning setup. So I'm not
Mm.
going to. So I will take that any day of the week. And now we're expanding that to we're going ultralight Texas. We got the jigs, we've got
Carolina,
some really fun cranks, we've got micro
frogs.
Carolina. The oh yeah,
We've
this is
got the
why I want to do a
we've
lure
got the
episode.
cross. We've got a whole. We do need to do a lure episode because
Nerdy stuff out of
bladed
the way. We're
jigs,
talking lures.
ultralight spinner baits, all
Yep.
your open hook stuff. Like there's a whole friggin' like literally anything you do in a regular setup, they make micro, and you can run
There's
them with the you can run them with this.
There's a whole new world of frogs out there, you guys. If you haven't seen ultralight frogs, go check it out right now. I mean, if you're familiar with fly fishing, you're familiar with poppers, like little foam topwater poppers, mousing, whatever. Like there's different topwater flies, lures that you can use, which are really cool.
Like the
They have
itsy
those.
bitsy.
Yeah, they have those for BFS, and they look like your typical frog, down to the silicone skirt legs coming out the back. Like they're sick. Some of them have one hook, so instead of having your little double hook that comes out the back, it's a singular hook. They do have those poppers, just with a little bit of weight because you need the weight of the lure to pull that line off your reel or off the spool. So that's cool. I think we're gonna pick up a few more different things like that. Mostly, we picked up a ton of terminal, which is absolutely necessary for what we really want to get done. I think if there's anything else we pick up this year, it's gonna be a couple of frogs. And hopefully winter ends at some point in Michigan. Like it
It's on
has
its way.
to, right?
It's on its
So
way.
hopefully we can do that. Chaz, where are we at viewer wise? Give me an update. 120.
Got
All
a
right.
few, not
You know,
quite.
who has 30 friends? You guys have 30 friends. You guys are really cool nerds. People hang out with you. People like you. Come on. Yeah, go get on with your buddies. Get them over here. Let's do that thing, right? Hop onto whatever friggin' Chaz, give me a game that's popular right now. Go.
Sure, Counter
Get
Strike 2.
get on Counter Strike 2 server right now and tell your boys to come out. Get out. What do
Barely
you
know
guys
what we're
play?
talking
Fall
about.
Guys? Fortnite? Get on the Fortnite server. Let's go, people. Come on.
All
Get it to
right.
150. We'll do that. Otherwise, we're saving that schmiv for another day. But we will, like, I'll save it for you guys. I'll put it into a Monster Bass box and everything, slap a AAA sticker on it, maybe a Ned Rig Nerd sticker in there for you. But we will. It's either going to be you guys, unless it's our members only live. I might have to give it to them. I don't know. We'll see. But we do have a $25 gift card to monsterbass.com. So we are going to get to that right about now. I think, do we
How are we
cover the
gonna do
why
that?
not?
How if I want to enter, what would I do?
You would wish upon a star really, really hard. Close your eyes and fingers crossed. And then you look up in the sky. And all you would have to do is you would have to chat. That's it. Say some stuff, right? Meow. And you will be entered into a random draw. Chaz will put it up on screen. We're going to ask each other a couple of fun questions. Just have a little fun with our slow rolling thunder, if you will. We'll draw our winner after the first question. So you better get chatting right now. And then once we draw that winner, all you got to do is follow the instructions on the screen. All right. So chitty chat, call your friends. You guys get to 150 before we're done with slow rolling thunder. Like you still have a chance. You're the underdogs right now, but like you can pull this out. I believe that you could do this. All right. Slow rolling thunder. I see chatter. Chitty chat. Chitty chatty bang bang. Good stuff, guys. I love to see that.
First question.
Okay.
Continuation of the show. What are you hoping to get out of this monstrous BFS purchase?
Dude, I feel
I can
like
tell you I know exactly what I'm hoping to get out of this.
well, here's where I'm at. Like, right. So I don't make expensive purchases like this, like ever. Ever. This is the most expensive combo I own. Some people look at it and be like, really? Like, no, yeah, this is the most expensive combo I own for the most niche thing that I do. So like for me, I love ultralight fishing. What I want to get out of this is I want to once again in the world of fishing, open up an entirely new nook and cranny of the industry. Like these are out of this world baits that I've never seen, heard of, thought of, could possibly exist before. I want to fish with them, and I want to catch fish on them because that is the reward that I seek in fishing. That's what I want.
Yeah, for me, we had a revelation with the ultralight 2 years ago. Just
Yes, that was
changed
game
everything.
changing.
It became that
Favorite thing to do.
if I could only take one rod to the cottage with me to go fish for giant smallmouth,
Ultralight.
that would be the one. That would be the one. I want to I want to have that happen again
Yep.
where I discover something totally new. It's so much fun that I can't leave it at home and I want to catch giant fish on ultralight line. That's Dude,
Yep.
that's it. I want to mentally really struggle with what rod I'm gonna bring when I go hit the river.
Yeah. Because when we hit the river, we like to go 2 to 3 rods. Like you
No,
don't.
0. I'm 1. Like I'm going 1.
Did you say
I
0?
never yes, I
How,
never
how many rods you bring into the river,
none.
bro? 0.
Hand line them all. I never like
Okay.
I can't take 2 rods anymore. It doesn't make any sense. And so
Oh,
right
you meant
now,
wading. You meant
yeah,
I'm sorry. I was thinking kayak. Kayak
no.
is what I'm saying. Kayak, we're 3. But yeah, I agree. You're basically, hey, we're gonna go wade the river, which by the way, you guys, we're gonna do a lot of this year. And now we have to throw fly fishing into the mix too, because we've talked about it and we want to. We're going fly fishing with our buddy Ted, who is a guide over on some of the rivers near Grand Rapids. So we're super pumped about that. So fly fishing will happen. That said, yeah, you have your BFS in one hand, you got the ultralight in the other, and you're gonna be like, oh no,
I
oh
want to
no.
struggle. Like after
Right?
getting this and
Yeah.
getting used to it, I want to struggle.
Yeah. I love it. Paul's going noodling. I mean,
Let's do it.
noodle for smallies? I wish that was possible. Maybe.
Anything's possible. You can go. You just won't succeed. All right. Should we roll the giveaway?
Yeah, let's roll that schmiv away. You said the word wrong. Robert Jones. His name was Robert Paulson.
His name was Robert Jones. All right. While we wait for Robert, Jeff,
yes.
let's say that you won the lottery.
Ooh.
Let's say you won 30 million.
Ooh.
You
I'm
do
scared.
all the stuff you're supposed to do. You
Get lawyers.
buy off your houses. You invest in a business. You pay off all your debt.
Mm-hmm.
You take care of your house, whatever, right? You do all the stuff you're supposed to do. But you're set. But now you're like, okay, now I have maybe a little extra money. It's been 6 months. I've done all the smart things. What's the first stupid thing that you buy with your 30 mil?
Okay,
Which is
first of
now
all,
5 mil.
Robert Jones is here. He says hi. Hi, Robert Jones. Congrats, brother. Follow those instructions. Charles will take care of you. We'll get you that Schmift card. Okay, so we're assuming I've paid. You cut me down to 5 million. Like how much in debt do you think I have?
Maybe you
$25
have
million?
a lot of houses. Maybe I said you were going to invest in a business, so maybe you're going to take 20 million.
Okay.
You do the bit. You go and buy all the crap you need for our fishing business that's now taking
So
off.
basically, let's just say you got 5 million spending money, right?
Mhm.
And you have to buy something stupid.
But you're kind of like, man, you know what? I can now. I did all the things I was supposed to do. I
Mhm.
can guilt free just go do whatever I want, and it doesn't have to be all 5 mil. It's just like, what's the first thing that you would go buy?
The first thing I would go buy is a boat. Like I feel like it's a no-brainer that I would go get
What
like
kind of boat? Like, what's the
$180,000
boat?
bass boat. like a
Yeah,
I don't know.
full sparkle,
Yeah, like a Nitro Z21,
big,
maybe more.
250.
Yeah, like I'm talking the 150 horse. I don't know. Like I'm gonna have a blast. 21-foot bass boat seems like a on the water mansion to me.
Yep.
Because that's massive. But I'm just picturing all the storage and the speed at which I can cross all over that lake, crisscross, applesauce, do it all. Like that would be amazing. Isn't it an expenditure that's ever in my line of sight right now? No, not at all. Like not even close. Would a boat be in the line of sight? Sure, absolutely. You and I have talked about it. Like someday, for sure, that's going to happen. That's an inevitable thing. Will it be a 21-foot bass boat? No, because we have families. Like it's you say that. You're the one that would if I was like, I'm gonna pull the trigger on this, you'd be like, no. Like that doesn't make sense. You would stop me. But if you had $5 million, then I'd be like, well, then we'll just get another family boat. Like that,
Obviously.
we'll just get a giant pontoon
And or
for
duh.
everybody. So yeah, I mean, I think it's no brainer because then I would be thinking like, give me the best boat, best trailer, I got the trucks. I mean, I got that, whatever, but I'll get the boat, the trailer, and storage for it, and I'd be a happy boy. So if we're just saying first purchase, that would be it for sure.
I
Chat, I want to
that's
know what you guys would do. I see
they're already
Ranger
putting it
Bass Boat
in.
in there.
So Thomas Santiago says he would buy the Crescent Kayak Company. I don't know that they would sell. Um,
Yeah, you have to. You can't just buy. Imagine if you could just like pirate law. This is mine. You
yeah,
can just go
I
buy
got it.
whatever company you want. Crescent's
Uh,
crushing it. I don't. They.
I love it.
Uh
David says
yeah.
he would buy a big piece of property and put a 10-acre lake on it.
I
Julie
love
said she
that.
would have some giant bass put in. It's a good answer, actually.
Those are great. Those are great.
A lot, just boat,
I was
boat,
honestly.
retire,
I was
new
thinking of.
truck.
Hang on. I was thinking of the property as the investment you were talking about. Because I would call that a
Yeah,
business investment for what we do.
yeah,
I'd
100%.
be like, oh yeah, I bought property. That ranch, that pond, like all that stuff, that's
I
for
would
the
buy.
channel.
Yeah, just to be clear, I would have already purchased on Lake St. Clair a large piece of property that butts up to public land.
Yep.
That property would have a rental side to it that we would make money on to pay
Yep.
for it. We would own the other half and we would operate out of it. That's for sure. So that would have already happened.
That's what I'm saying. That something like that, maybe multiple like that would be a done deal. The first ridiculous purchase that you don't need is I would buy that bass boat. But yeah,
I would, yeah, I'd have a hard time not buying a boat. I'd have a really
right?
hard, yeah. That,
Michael M says all the Neds and big levers. I mean,
and somebody said, well, not somebody, Raka said he would buy all the Snorlaxes fully rigged or a 120 PDL
yo, just an army of laxes.
for
Like you just
everybody,
got
for all the Snorlaxers.
oh, dude, that is probably all right.
I think we need
Rocca
Raka to win
wins.
the lottery
Rocca,
is
you
what it
need to win the lottery. You have a way better decision making process than we do. you do. You do way better, cooler things. Come on.
I
I
don't know.
think
I honestly,
somebody should buy Go Mexis and then make the biggest lever. Like I want like a
haven't they already done that? They
500
have a
millimeter.
they have a lever the size of my head.
Can you imagine if it was just here's your lever? Like just I'm on board. Biggest levers. Georgianne, good day. Good day to you. Thank you for the super chat. Wow, very much appreciate it. You didn't say
Very much.
anything. You're a lot. You can say stuff if you want. You can
Jordan,
ask a
go ahead
question.
and throw something out
Yeah,
there for us. I
throw something at us.
I got the last one.
All right,
This one's tricky. What
go.
is your favorite bird?
Wait, did you say what your purchase was going to be?
I think it would have to be boat. There's some
Okay.
other things, but it
What
would be boat.
what boat?
I think it'd be boat.
What boat? You got to tell us what. You made me do it.
Nope, I know. So if I was really that rich, it would 100% be a bass boat.
Oh, good
Property on a
call.
lake
I
and a
think we're
boat.
all
Good
on the
choice.
same
We're
page,
all on the
right?
same
So,
page, man.
what boat did you say, Paul?
It
It'd be a
would
bass
it would
boat.
100% be a bass boat, and
Yeah.
it would be at least 21 feet minimum.
Like, I file that under ridiculous purchase because we're not
Yeah.
bass tournament anglers out
No,
of boats,
no.
especially. And even if, well, not even if we were, but like if we were to get a boat, we'd always be looking at a multi-purpose use. We want family to come out
With a
sometimes.
deck on the front.
Yeah, where I can have the feeder, but there's room in the back for the kids. You got a ladder hanging off the back, then go swimming. You can get those float pads, all that stuff. Like the bass boat would be the most selfish thing that I could spend a
Oh,
hundred
yeah.
something $1,000 on. So
100%.
it'd be so bad. But yeah, I'm with all you guys. I think we're all on the same page. I love it. So last question was, what's your favorite bird?
We've already got answers. Red-tailed falcon, owl, you gotta
Ooh,
specify bass daddy. Nande conure, African gray, kestrel, smallest falcon,
yep,
peregrine falcon, red-tailed hawk, pheasant because they taste good, kestrel.
fair.
A lot of good answers. Cardinal, golden eagle.
Did you choose this because the kestrel is a reel that you got?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
Well, it's just serendipitous then that they have it.
I know.
That's
Loon,
cool.
the 90 millimeter loon. Dead. Thunderbird, dead. Dead,
Not the
dead, dead.
75, specifically the 90. Better.
Dude, that's so funny.
Better. Oh my god. Thunder
Thunder
chickens? Great
chickens, yeah.
answer.
Yep.
Great answer.
Mine
Wow.
is gonna be the turkey.
The turkey.
It's not close. All
Yeah, I
other
don't
birds are inferior.
Yeah, I
All other
don't
birds are inferior.
I don't do any hunting or anything, so I have no. I
Even if
mean,
you don't hunt, turkeys are
not not.
incredible.
I mean, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Until you've heard a
Uh,
turkey gobble in real life, you've never seen a turkey.
I gotta say though, like, remember we were on St. Clair, we were talking about the osprey.
Yeah,
Like,
so there's
it's
an osprey that lives in my neighborhood in Canada. It's incredible. It's the coolest thing.
dude, Georgianne, don't press that button anymore unless you really are meaning to do it. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the follow-up, the rebuttal super
So nice
chat.
she hit it twice.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so osprey or just good old fashioned bald eagle, brother. Every time I see one, or just hawks, like in general, like those three for me, because we'll
Yeah.
see them from time to time. Hawks, especially. Tom, you collided with a hawk with your
I had
truck.
a head to head with a hawk.
You knocked that
Hummingbirds are
sucker
pretty
out.
incredible.
Yeah,
There's something about seeing a bald eagle up close when it's standing on the ground that's terrifying. That is
they're
3 feet tall.
gigantic,
Yeah.
gigantic. You're like,
Which a
wow.
golden bald eagle is like a giant version of an eagle. The other thing about
Yeah,
eagles, they're they're not as BA as an osprey. I think an osprey is the true like master predator when it
predator of the
comes to like
sky, the
being
last
a
shadow.
feathered creature. They
Yeah.
are they are merciless. They have
Oh
no
man.
mercy whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're unreal.
Gosh, wow,
But yeah,
wow.
turkey,
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, when you're up close to a turkey, like within spitting distance, and
Yeah.
one gobbles, your heart turns off. It is unreal. And they make no sense.
We
Like,
gotta do
oh
a
my gosh.
hunting. We gotta do hunting where I have to be the most patient boy I've ever been, and like just be
You don't have to
camera
be
guy.
that patient in
No,
turkey
what
hunting, which is nice.
hang on, because I have no background experience or skill
Yeah.
set with it. I would be
Yeah.
like camera guy Jeff.
It'd be the opposite,
I would just
actually.
film you.
With a turkey hunt, I would be putting you on birds. Like, I would be calling, I would be moving around way behind you, drawing
Uh,
birds into where you are. Like, I would put you on a bird.
All right, I'm not saying I would hunt them though. I'm saying I would
You
film
don't
you
have to shoot
hunting them.
one. You don't even have to shoot one.
Okay, you
I
want to just
just
go
want you
stalk
to get
some
within
Turks? Let's do it.
what I want to have happen for you specifically
Yeah,
is I want you to be sitting somewhere and I want two birds to be coming your way. I want you to
yeah,
see them from far off.
yeah.
Your heart rate will go through the roof. Like, it just there's nothing you can do. You won't even have a gun. I will be
I
calling
said,
behind you
there's
and I will
nothing
be
you can
moving
do.
away. And that those birds will come closer and
Yeah, no, it sounds
closer
great.
and closer. And when they
Mhm.
are, you could spit on them. They're so close. I
Yeah,
want one to just unleash. Go. Like it will change
yeah.
your whole perspective on turkeys.
I love Cody's advice. Better sign Jeff up for hunter safety class before you start putting weapons in his hands.
100%.
100,000%. I'm not suggesting that I would even hunt. I'm just like I would be along for the ride. But sure, we could
Oh
do
my
something like
God.
that. Why not? That'd be fun. I'm down.
Dude, it is like
Yeah,
I something about a turkey gobbling. They're
yeah,
dinosaurs. They're the most dinosaur bird around.
yeah.
A shoebill? I don't know. To
Chaz, I
me,
love how fast you were on the
when
draw
you
for that. You're
see
like, I was waiting for him to say this.
when
Shoe
even
bill.
like even a turkey vulture like does not like when you look
Yeah.
at a turkey and think of it as a dinosaur, it changes your whole perspective on turkeys. And then when you hear one and watch them move around, dude,
Oh, those things are
Charles is showing
I,
us some
a
insane AI
prehistoric
drawn
pterodactyl. I got you. But
bird.
I watched Jurassic Park. All right.
That's the best.
Awesome. Well, you know what? This has been fun. And maybe, yeah, we got some ideas. Maybe we'll do some stuff there. We'll go figure something out. In the meantime, we've got a very expensive BFS order to go fish around with. So we're gonna
Peruse.
have to play around with that. We've got a bunch of unboxings for you guys coming your way just because the weather's been terrible. So we apologize if you're looking forward to fishing videos. They will be back very, very shortly. In the meantime, I think we have members only live coming up. Week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, right?
5'9".
5/9. Thank you. So May 9th, members, anybody in the Shark Deuce or higher, so Shark Deucers and Snorlax crew, If you're not, you can click join below if you want to find out more about it. I won't spend too much time on it there, but it is a chance for us to hang out with our members and give back. Last time we gave away a reel. Sometimes we give away a tackle and other special things. So it's a lot of fun. So if you do want to check that out, let us know. You can click join below and we'll invite you in. We do a Brady Bunch thing. We'll put you all up on cameras. It's an absolute blast. We will have the Aggressively Average Anglers best of box still available. I'm gonna keep that on the line for you guys. So that'll be available as a stream giveaway.
Limited edition.
Next week or whenever we hit 150 viewers. It's just a goal, just an arbitrary number we threw out there. We'd love to have that many viewers on the podcast. It'd be an absolute blast hanging out with you guys. Other than that, thanks for hanging out with us on a Wednesday night. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are all awesome nerds and we love you. And sign up for the Knucklehead so we can maybe fish with y'all. Download Fishing Chaos app and go join a team. Team Flanders, Ned Flanders, or Team Stark, Ned Stark. Let's do that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next Wednesday. Bye. Chaz, take us out of here. Oh,
no. Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh.